Hello and welcome to my new series, The Late Review Show, where I review games months to years after they've come out. Why? Well, that's mainly due to life getting in the way of me being able to play games in any time frame that would lead to be able to produce one of these the week the game comes out. So what game will we be reviewing first? That's right, the last big release of 2024, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. I played on PC using the Game Pass version of the game, and I have to say, if this is the type of game we can expect going forward, Game Pass subscribers are in for a really good time. The game starts as it means to go on, having you pick up Indy's controls as he's nearing the end of an adventure. The same adventure, as it happens, he starts the movie Raiders of the Lost Ark completing, including a digital version of a treacherously young Alfred Molina. This shows you the basics of the game, controlling Indy from first person, interacting with objects and the environment, and even the basic idea of what traps may look like as you do what Indiana Jones does best, and raid some tombs. From the jump, the game hits all the notes you want out of a modern Indy adventure, even letting you interact with his old colleague Marcus when it returns you to Marshall College to set you off on the actual main story. There is something that just makes you smile when you see Indy in this iconic outfit, fedora and bullwhip in tow. But it's not just his look that makes this work. Troy Baker, standing for Harrison Ford, does an outstanding job not only with the voice but the motion capture work as well. I haven't seen the films for years, but I can instantly remember the mannerisms Ford used when Indy was working something out, and when I see Baker's motion capture version, it's just that good. The voice isn't quite right, but that is absolutely fine because it is close enough to work, and in the spots I honestly couldn't tell the difference between the two.
What were some of those letters?
L-A-P-S-O A-N-G-E. I couldn't make out. Sorry?
Lapsorum Angelorum.
This instantly sucks you in, placing you firmly in the shoes of one of the most iconic action heroes ever to grace the big screen, or indeed, small screen. Developers over at Machine Games, known for their work on the hyper-violent craziness that is the modern Wolfenstein games, have turned their talented hands to this world and crafted a game that is clearly made by a group of people who have a special place in their heart for the various adventures of the titular hero. This goes down to including iconic little moments like Indy grabbing his hat from under a closing stone door, to the old school map with a red line marking its way across the world as you travel to each new location. And of course, no Indiana Jones story would be complete without a certain German regime and an ever so slightly mad archaeological antagonist.
And there we go, the obviously evil doctor, or archaeologist, or whatever it is that you have to have.
In the Great Circle, that antagonist is named Emmerich Voss, played to the same great standard as Jones, this time by Marius Gravelis. He's a mustache-twirling madman who's a true believer in the regime, seeing his work as the key to victory.
Wenn sein Privates an die Öffentlichkeit gelang, die allerschlimmsten Sünden, die Gott mit dem Tod bestraft, vor aller Augen offengelegt.
There is also the love interest of Indy's, Gina Lombardi, an Italian journalist on the hunt for a missing sister. You meet her relatively early in the game, and she becomes Indy's companion for the rest of the adventure.
Promise me something, Indiana. If you care for her, keep her safe.
Each location in the game, while not an open world as such, is a massive area that contains secrets, side quests and various collectibles. As you get into this aspect, you will be forgiven for thinking that this is an immersive sim. Similarities are certainly there, but there is a pace here that is faster than almost all entries in that genre that I have played. Couple that with the notion that the game very definitely wants you to do things a certain way, sometimes even in a certain order, and the differences become noticeable. The combat exemplifies this. While you do have access to guns, the game actively encourages you to stealth your way around, taking out enemies quietly using various melee weapons and, if you have to get into a fight, your fists. Indiana Jones is a brawler, and while a hand-to-hand fighting system isn't the most in-depth thing in the world. It is never not satisfying to punch fascists in their stupid faces. Books you acquire around the various locations give you more power and a few more options in stealth to make these encounters even more fun. The real meat of the game, though, comes when you do encounter those hidden ancient tombs and temples, complete with weird contraptions to open doors and traps to end your adventuring in a very gruesome manner. These are excellently designed, and while some of the puzzles can be maddeningly obtuse, perseverance will see you through and on to the next part of the adventure. These areas feel distinct in each place you visit, never just reusing quite the same puzzle design or level geometry as the last, and it really adds to the quality of an already excellent adventure. Completing the main quest and most of the side activities gave me a completion time of around 30 hours, and, as I say, while some of the puzzles drove me up the wall trying to figure them out, I enjoyed every single minute. The game does have its problems though. As I said previously, working out some of the puzzles can be frustrating, and even with map markers showing you where to go, actually finding said puzzles or even just collectibles can be tricky to work out. This is compounded by the odd decision to not have the map marker show up on screen unless you press the button to pull out the full map, and even then it only stays on screen for a couple of seconds after putting the map away again. This results, especially in the Sukhothai area, of having to stop and start to be able to orientate yourself properly and find the correct way to go. While there is an argument to be made that this is a more realistic way to show how Indy would have navigated around, it is still a video game, and as such a simple quality of life change, such as being able to tap the button to bring the marker up and then hold the same button for the full map, would have made navigating the area so much easier. I also had some technical issues, with a full crash to desktop once and various soundbites playing at random times. When I dropped back into the game to finish up some collectibles after beating it, for example, Gina would say the same line over and over and over again for no reason at all, even after rebooting the game. It was not fun.
That was too close!
Some little cutscenes also had issues where the animation just didn't work correctly, especially during one mission where interacting with one NPC in particular just seemed to bug out for no reason at all. The last thing against it, depending on your point of view, is that it's still part of the Indiana Jones franchise. If you never liked this style of adventure, the movies, or even just Harrison Ford, then there is very little here to change your mind. All that said though, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle is a fantastic adventure game that is well worth playing. If you have any nostalgia for the series heyday, then this will satisfy no end, and if you fancy trying an immersive sim but don't want to dive into the deep end of the genre, then this is the perfect way to start. Also a great way to say goodbye to the late great Tony Todd, who voices and provides his likeness for a recurring side character throughout the game. This character is one of the many standouts in a game packed full of such delights, and combined with the excellent puzzle design and plethora of things to do, will provide hours of entertainment and even have you humming that iconic theme for days to come once you have beaten it. Definitely check this out. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to hit subscribe and like the video and hit that bell, and of course let me know in the comments what you thought of Indiana Jones and the Great Circle.